Hello and welcome to another episode of Historic Hindsight. I'm John, that's Tom, and today we're talking about some guy that was president at a point in our history.
That's right, Johnny. He's our 10th president, John Tyler, and he's going to, spoiler, he's going to be the only president not to die in office and then also not serve a term.
Oh.
He's the first of a lot of things, this guy, and he's, spoiler, he's not great. He's not a great president. He's not a great human.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about,
He's
so...
just kind of a shitbag overall. So, buckle up for this one, guys. It's not, there's not, even if you wanted to find something good about him, there's not much
Good luck.
redeeming.
All right, so he probably owned slaves, I imagine. Was
Well, yeah, get right into it. First
all
off,
that,
like we always,
like-
like we have with all the other up to this point, the other 10 presidents, only 2 of them which didn't have slavery. We got to talk about that.
Yeah, there
Get
we
the
go.
elephant in
Number
the room. Get it out of the way. Yep, owned them. Owned a lot of them. Well, I mean, not as many as some of the predecessors, but at the height of his ownership, he had 47 slaves at his Sherwood Forest Plantation, which that right there pisses me off because you named your plantation Sherwood Forest. You're not
where he
Robin Hood.
steals from
You're
the
definitely
poor
not
and
robbing from the
gives-
rich and stealing from the poor, or giving to the poor. Flip that is what you're doing. And
He was
you're
giving
owning
jobs
slaves.
to the poor.
Pretty sure Robin Hood would
No.
not have been pro-slavery. I'm just saying. I don't know the guy, but based on the tales
I mean,
that I've heard,
yeah, just
I'm gonna assume
context clues. Robin Hood was anti-slavery.
probably not the
I
biggest
think that's safe to say.
opponent of slavery, or at least the fairy tale story that we're told, which is what he would have been told. So, yeah. Anyways, at one point, Johnny, a substantial number of his slaves on his plantation were 10 years old or younger, indicating that at the very best, he was breeding his slaves. At the very best, like
Which, let's
interbreeding,
leave-
like
yeah,
breeding
just
them to
as,
make more.
He was allowing families to propagate,
Yeah, that's the
and
best.
that's it. He was not a
Best
part
case
of it.
scenario. Worst case scenario is that rumors, which flew rampant during his lifetime, is that he was personally
No,
breeding his
maybe we don't. We'll just
slaves.
under the rug.
The first claim of which came in his first year of presidency in 1841 by an abolitionist named Joshua Levitt, which, yeah, sure, he's an abolitionist. Maybe take what he says with a grain of salt. John Tyler obviously denies the claim, but Joshua Levitt produces an interview with a light-skinned slave, which he met in Williamsburg, who was sold there from Tyler's plantation. All the paper trail checks out. This man was a slave at his plantation, was then sold over to Williamsburg. He had an interview with him, and he said, yeah, my name is John because my mom called me John because she said that John was my dad.
I mean, John, to be fair, is a
John Tyler.
common name.
Yeah, but it's John Tyler. John
it's-
Tyler.
well,
John Tyler. His name was
conjecture.
John Tyler. Yeah, it is conjecture, Johnny. But unfortunately, for conjecture in the Tyler family, is that DNA is a thing that exists, and you can track lineages of DNA evidence. And
Oh,
for a fact, we know that John Tyler's son had a relationship with a Sarah Jefferson, who's a slave on that plantation, and fathered several children with
his son.
that woman, which we know through DNA evidence. Could track that lineage.
I guess.
And 3 slave descendants from the Tyler plantation have matched DNA with several of Tyler white descendants that he has. So at the very best case scenario, it was one of his sons stumping the kids. But where there's smoke, there's fire. If I have a slave saying that this guy was my dad, and then DNA evidence that says that yes, your descendants are in fact the descendants of this guy, I'd go ahead and say it's more likely than not that John Tyler was having relationships with his slaves.
Well, and just given the history of white men lying in this country, it's
Which the funniest thing about this whole thing is besides it being rape, like having children. This isn't
which is
consensual.
not
This is
not
rape.
funny. That
you can't
was
have.
not,
No, that's
not
funny.
on the top of the fun. You phrased that very poorly.
Probably. What I mean by that is that beside the whole rape thing, and then having the children from said
Ignoring
productions
that bit.
of the rape, they had this whole thing about like keeping the bloodlines pure. And Johnny, at this time in Antebellum South, do you know who was responsible for keeping the bloodlines pure? It wasn't the white males. It was the white women. They were the white males could go off and breed whatever intermixed children that they wanted through,
of course,
rape and pillage.
Sure.
But the white women, They got to
That's
stay.
their God-given right.
They got to stay pure and chaste for the white man. So
naturally. Yeah, this is not. I mean, not much has changed.
No,
That's
not really.
Still how a
Still-
lot of people feel.
Still pretty much. And if all that, Johnny's
Is
not bad enough.
Why we are okay.
With his ideals here on slavery, he was very much in favor of the expansion of slavery into new territories, and is a
Naturally.
big reason why Polk is going to get elected. And Polk is the one who gets us involved in the Mexican-American War to get Texas and the Southwest into the United States so that they can expand slavery. And if you're not aware at home why we should remember the Alamo, it was because the white slave-owning settlers of Texas didn't like the fact that Mexico made slavery illegal, and that's why they seceded from Mexico.
A lot of secession and slavery, just
Going hand in hand there.
kind of
Yeah.
meshing in U.S. history. That's interesting.
On to his presidency, Johnny. So he is going to be the first non-elected president taking the throne, presidency,
that's
by
right.
ascending to it.
Because our last guy just
Died
real
in 31
quick.
days. Yep.
Yeah, no coat. So not even elected. So this guy.
Yeah, not elected.
Okay.
Nope.
That's,
Nope.
Okay, so at this point in time, what was that process?
So Tyler was supposed to be a figurehead VP. By all means, he was a
Okay.
figurehead VP. After the inauguration, his ass went home to his plantation and was like, cool, deuces, I'm out. Call me if you need me. 31 days later, when
need
Harrison
you.
dies,
Yeah.
they go, hey,
Okay,
Harrison
so
died.
it was
He
just vice
rushes-
president.
Yeah, he rushes to Washington and gets sworn in, or swears himself in, against very much opposition from Congress.
But is that not the procedure? Was that or
No,
have we
that's not the procedure. At this
considered
point in time, there is no clear secession in the Constitution that lays out who should or shouldn't become president. John
Oh.
Quincy Adams, you might remember him as a non-slave owning president, one of the good guys. He's going to argue, hey, listen, the Constitution says that you get to have the powers, but not the title, not the presidency itself, not the position. You have the powers until we can have another dual
so
election. You like this is with
He
special
becomes
election.
an interim coach.
Yeah, you're an interim coach.
head coach
Is-
essentially, while they wait to see if maybe you can continue doing it. Maybe we'll pick you, but essentially, it has to come down to
A vote. It's
Is
gotta
it
be a vote.
another Congress? A vote from Congress? Or
Well, there's again, there's
another
nothing.
just election.
There's nothing clearly defined as to if the president
nobody
dies,
knows.
this thing
Everybody's
should
just
happen.
winging
That's not a part of it yet. So.
And so he just said, "Well,
Yep,
dibs
I'm going to do it anyways.
and got it.
I'm not going to
Okay.
be acting. I'm the guy. It's me. I'm doing it. John Quincy Adams would say, and I quote, of Tyler, he is in direct violation of both grammar and context of the Constitution, and starts to call him his ascendancy, as opposed to your presidency or Mr. President.
Well, I don't know. If you didn't have it, maybe the founding fathers should have thought
figured
that out a little
might
bit
have
and
been
put
something that could
something
have
in
happened.
writing.
Yeah, probably should have been something that could have happened. Now, politically, Tyler's going to start off as a Democrat. He's going to switch to the Whig Party in order to get into the whole VP slot thing here. And at the first cabinet meeting, his own first cabinet meeting, he's going to scoff at the cabinet when they inform him that, hey, Harrison had a rule with us. We're at an all agreement. Everything was going to be a Democratic vote here. We're all going to have anything that was going to come up with a decision for the presidency.
like,
We're all going to sit down. We're all going to talk about it, and we're going to have a Democratic vote. Majority rules.
Don't
and
like
Tyler
democracy.
says, go fuck yourself. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I am the president. Fuck off. I don't care what Harrison
You're
said.
president.
Harrison's dead. I'm the guy now. Despite the fact that good chunk of you said you don't want me here, well, I'm still the guy. Doesn't matter.
Dictators don't care about that.
Yeah, dictator sure shit don't care about that. And he's going to shit all over the Whig Party and Harrison's goals of getting the National Bank restored when he starts to veto it twice, prompting Senator Clay to publicly call him a traitor to not only the nation, but to the party, but also to the nation. Yeah, so you call him a traitor. He is the first president to have his effigy, after this whole thing happens, he's going to have his effigy hung not only on the White House porch, but after they hang it, they're going to burn it. Right there on the White House porch. Can you imagine a bunch of protesters today going onto the White House porch and burning, an effigy of one of our presidents?
Yes, they can.
Well, it hasn't
Didn't
happened.
it happen
Johnny.
with Obama?
No, it ain't on the porch.
No,
This is
but
on the
close.
porch. This is
Anyway,
front stoop.
yeah, and I just wanted to point out that hanging and burning effigies back then was they were more serious.
Yeah, that's what they wanted to do. Yeah.
Like today, it's just like a symbolic, like, oh, it's like a pinata, whatever.
That was a threat then.
They'd follow through.
That was definitely a threat.
Like, yeah.
Now, Johnny, his dictator ideals don't take very long for his cabinet to resign, minus Webster, who's only stayed because he was in like active negotiations for a treaty. And it's like I can't in good conscience like
thing, yeah.
abandon this. I'm going to finish this treaty out, and then I'll resign. He's going to be excommunicated from the Whig Party in 1842. Just not even a full year into his presidency there.
Wow,
and he's going to be the first president.
Okay.
Brought up on impeachment charges. Hey! First
just
one.
For just saying
being a
I'm
douche.
not going to do any of the things I'm supposed to, and
the whole how he got elected and a bunch of other things.
And I shouldn't be president anyway.
In modern times where people get impeached, Congress goes, "Yep, you have every right to be impeached, but we're not going to follow through with it." So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You can still be president.
Nobody does anything.
He's going to attempt to rejoin the Democratic Party in 1842 when the Whig Party kicks him out. The Democratic Party says, "We don't want you either, buddy." So
he's still president during this, though, or has
he's still president. He's still
impeachment
president.
Charges have been brought up.
Yeah.
Against him.
And the Democrat Party says, "No, we don't want you either," and he becomes the first president, and I think the only president to not have a political party.
Seems like somebody should have just been like, sure, yes, and then we will puppet you. We will control you like they do now. Like, we will pull all the strings and do all the stuff. You just say you're part of us. Because they're setting him up to just be like, well, now I can do what I want because I have no allegiances anywhere, and I will just rule as I see fit.
Yeah. I think God even gets into this whole "I don't like you" thing because in 1844, Johnny, I think God attempts to smite him because he's on the USS Princeton at sail on the Potomac when one of the cannons is going to explode during a ceremonial firing. Which, by the way, don't have if the Civil War has taught me anything, don't have ceremonial firings. The cannons tend to explode when we do that shit. Don't do it.
Especially like today, fine, whatever. But back when it's all black powder stuff, just
don't do it. Anyways, 6 people are going to get killed, including his slave valet. Unfortunately, that poor soul bites it when it probably should have been John Tyler to bite it, because fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's going to be the first president.
So why does that God mad at him? Just because he took away his valet?
Well, I was saying because the cannon exploded in kind of a freak accident, killing 6 people around him, including it was also the Secretary of State who also died, by the way, Abel, for sure. Anyways,
if you're going by the way they justify things, it seems to me like he might be the chosen one since God spared him.
He spared him. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, you might be right. Hey, so maybe God likes slavery. Who knows? Well, it is in the Bible. So maybe
literal instructions on how to do it. Yeah. Buy and sell and treat and do everything with slaves.
How to whip them.
The Bible didn't care about slavery.
To do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You might be right on that one, Johnny. In any case, he attempts to get reelected, and it does not go so well because he tries to create his own political party. Nobody wants to join it, and nobody picks him up. And so, you don't no re-election for you becoming the first president to not serve a full term. That didn't die.
Didn't get on too many ballots there.
No, didn't get in. Nope, didn't. He's also going to be the first president to issue a presidential override of a passed bill. The bill in question was one requiring legislative approval over any appropriation of federal money to build the revenue cutter ships. At this time, the revenue cutter ships, think of them as the Coast Guard, kind of what they are.
Okay.
And so this bill would have made it so that in order to buy any new Coast Guard boats, you needed legislative approval. And he said, nope, don't like that. I want free reign of military spending.
That's not how dictatorship works. I get to buy all the toys my military wants.
So you can thank John Tyler.
It's not like Congress is going to say no. When have they
military
said no
industrial
to military?
Yeah, right.
Look at their budget.
And Johnny Wright, as he's leaving office, one of his outspoken haters, Clay, is going to say of Tyler's departure from the White House, he's going to say the Whig outlaw can now, like Robin Hood, return to his Sherwood Forest, which is why Tyler names his plantation Sherwood Forest. But again, like, Robin Hood robbed from the rich and gave to the poor. You literally own slaves. And you named your place where you house and force these slaves to work for you as Sherwood. I don't think not Robin Hood.
I don't think he cares, Tommy. I'm just gonna
Well, he
say.
definitely doesn't now because the dude's been
I
dead
think-
for forever.
I think he just liked the name, the
Probably.
ring of it. It's a good name.
Yeah, sure. It is. I mean, it is. But, Anyways, Johnny, post-war, the guy goes into full traitor mode, becomes the first president who you can, in fact, legitimately call a traitor because he took his sworn oath to the United States and crumpled it up and threw it in the dumpster because he votes for Virginia to secede the Union. And not only does he vote for Virginia to secede the Union, he also goes around and votes for and negotiates the term for Virginia to enter the Confederacy. And then once Virginia enters the Confederacy, he gets elected as a Confederate congressman and takes a sworn oath to the Confederacy. Although he does die before taking office because, he's fucking old as shit. And he gets buried with a Confederate flag. So our
he
only
played
president...
make-believe as a dictator when he was president, and then he went down and played make-believe as a congressman for some made-up government until he died and then got draped in their traitor flag.
Yep, sure did.
Cool.
So, traitor, only president to so far officially be a traitor. I mean,
until
we'll see how current affairs play out. But so far, only one to be a
Just
traitor.
as we're going.
As is. So that's John Tyler. Just shitbag overall, through and through.
That's it for this week in Historic Hindsight. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review, and join us next week when we talk about Pee Wee Herman for some reason.